What's going on, y'all? This is Czar. So I want to give you my first impressions of the new Presonus monitor station version 2. I want to start this off by saying thank you, Presonus, because finally someone has made a monitor controller with all the features that I want for an affordable price. Uh, Up until now, the only monitor controller that did everything that I wanted it to do was the dangerous monitor controller, and it's $2,000, and I don't want to spend $2,000 on a monitor controller. There's been other the Mackie Big Knob. I think Behringer has one. Drummer recently came out with one. They all of them were missing one feature that I wanted. One would have one feature I wanted, and the other would be missing one, would have another. But nothing did everything like the monitor station does. So some of those things that I wanted that if it was missing were a deal breaker to me. Um, First, it lets me run both of my monitors with my sub at the same time. Uh, it has a dim switch. I've always wanted a dim switch. It has uh, metering. I've always wanted output metering. So these are things that I've always wanted in my monitor controller that I haven't been able to have. In my studio, I've been using Dangerous D-Box monitor controller, which is really good, but it lacks DIM, it lacks metering, and it lacks the ability to run both of my monitors with a sub. So these past few years, I've only had one pair of my monitors going through the sub. So and the monitor station also has a built-in D to A converter, and that's just a bonus. So the D to A converter, I spent many hours last night listening to it because I was really curious to see how good of a converter that you would get in a $300 monitor controller. With in my studio, when I'm just listening to music, I use the Lynx Aurora converters, and when I'm mixing, I'm using the Dangerous D-Box D to A converter. So I was really curious to see how the monitor station stacks up to those converters. I wasn't able to A/B it with the Dangerous converter because I'd have to unplug the SPDIF from my interface and plug in another SPDIF cable to do that. Not really a way of A and Bing things, but I was able to A and B it with the Lynx Aurora converters. So after many hours of listening, uh, the monitor station D-Day converter is very good. However, I don't think it sounds as good as my Lynx Aurora, but it's very, very, very close. And when I say very close, I'm talking losing in Game 7 close. Um, Between the A and Bs, the Lynx sounded just a little bit smoother to me. Um, Sometimes I couldn't even hear a difference. But it really holds its own, and I'm really impressed with the D-Day converter in it. I think it would easily beat out lower end D-Day converters on lower end interfaces. So, because I mean, comparing a $300 D-Day converter in a monitor controller to a $2,000 D-Day converter, the Lynx Aurora, it's really a big jump there, and some may even say that that's not even fair. But again, I'm very impressed with the D-Day converter in it. The monitor station has a lot of what Presonus called advanced modes that you can configure it. So in pretty much any way you want to work with it, you can configure it to do that. So I've configured mine to toggle between the first two speakers while leaving the third speaker on, which is the sub. I really like having a button to turn the sub on and off rather than the foot pedal. Um, I never really was a fan of turning the sub on and off with the foot pedal. I mean, it works, but I mean that foot pedal gets kicked under my desk. Sometimes I step on it and miss it. It's just kind of annoying. So to have a button where I can turn the sub on and off is going to be really handy. I really like the new design, the new all black. It puts it in the mind frame of Presonus higher end gear, like the ADL series or the RC channel strip. And it's really looking at my fader port next to it. It's making me wish that the fader port came in all black. So, hopefully, hopefully Presonus updates the fader port soon and maybe can give it an all black design to match the monitor station. One thing anyone purchasing this needs to be aware of: when you first plug it up, the there's trim knobs on the back of the unit to turn up your speakers. Those by default are turned all the way down. So I hooked everything up, hit play. It took me a few minutes to realize that that's what the problem was. So you will need to turn those trim pots up to get gain on your speakers once you first pull it out the box. Uh, Other things that it has a aux input, so I can plug in a 1/8 inch jack. Someone comes to my studio and wants to plug the 1/8 inch up to their iPod or phone and play music through that. I've always wanted one of those. That's good to have. The Q outputs, I plugged in headphones. Headphone level here gets plenty gain. I had it up maybe halfway, and it was even louder than what I would track with, even at halfway. So you've got plenty gain in the headphones. I'm trying to think, is there anything I'm missing? I've got two sources to choose in between. I think that's pretty much it. So far, I'm really impressed with it. If I didn't mention it, of course, you've got TalkBack, which works like a standard studio console. If you press it once, it'll latch, and you can hold it and talk and let go, and it'll automatically turn off. Like I say, just like a console would. One thing I wish the monitor station did have was a built-in crossover. So before the monitor station, I had my main monitors connected to my sub, connected to the D box, using the crossover in the sub. Because the monitor station encourages you to use two monitors with the sub, it'd be really cool if it had a built-in crossover, because what's happening now is I've got my sub crossover set at 80 hertz, but both of my monitors are playing at full range. So anything below 80 hertz, I'm hearing 80 hertz from the sub, and I'm hearing 80 hertz from the monitor. So I'm kind of doubling everything below that frequency. I could use the filters on the back of my monitors and set them to say 90 hertz to cut them off there. But the reason I'm not doing that is because when I don't have the sub on, I want my monitors to play at full range, not with a high pass filter on them. I'm still tweaking my sub, trying to get it right. Um, but maybe in a version 3, maybe it's something Presonus may look at. It'd be really cool to be able to set a crossover uh, in the monitor station. But there you go. That's my first impressions of the monitor station V2. Um, so far, I'm really loving it. It's giving me everything that I've always wanted in a monitor controller for an affordable price. All right, I'll catch y'all next time.